Have you ever felt like you needed permission to be yourself? Maybe you tried to change, to rebuild your life, to heal old wounds, but you noticed the silence around you was uncomfortable and support absent. Because the greatest prison has no bars. It has applause. It has others' expectations disguised as love. It has the fear of disappointing those who only applauded when you were small. But I'll tell you something, you may have never heard this clearly. You don't need an audience to be reborn. True rebirth happens in the dark. And the only judge that matters is your conscience. Today, you'll understand how to rebuild yourself without needing anyone's approval. Most people don't live. They perform. They adapt, shape themselves. They create an acceptable version of themselves just to survive in places where authenticity is punished. And then one day, something inside them screams, enough. But then a new trap appears, the need to be validated for changing. Look how I'm improving. Look how I'm trying. See how I've changed. That craving for recognition isn't healing. It's just another kind of prison. Here's the hard truth. If you need others to validate your transformation, it's not solid yet. You're painting external walls while your foundation still trembles. And the cruelest part? Those who most demanded your change are usually the first to abandon you when you actually change, because your healed version threatens their comfort zone. So let me ask you, are you trying to change or trying to convince others that you've changed? There's a difference, and it defines whether your reconstruction will last or crumble at the first breeze of disapproval. Starting over in silence is one of the greatest acts of courage, because the ego screams, show your progress, prove you're winning. But the soul whispers, not yet, it's time for roots. Rebuilding requires disappearing for a while, not from the world, but from the desire for approval. It's when you leave the stage to finally live behind your own curtains. It's scary, because we were trained to believe success is visible. That growth must be shown. That pain must be explained. But the truth is more sober. The deepest transformations happen quietly, and that silence is not empty. It's fertile. Those who loved your weakness will be disturbed by your silence. Those who used your need to please will try to provoke, expose, and pull you back, because your absence makes it obvious how useful you were to their dysfunction. But don't give in. You don't need to explain your process. You need to honor it. And remember, every seed looks dead before it blooms. How many times have you held back, afraid to disappoint? How many decisions have you delayed? Wait for someone to say, go, I support you. Every time you ask permission to be who you are, you silently sign a contract of imprisonment. A contract that says, your truth depends on my acceptance. But freedom isn't a gift. It's an internal conquest, and often a solitary one. You must stop trading your truth for applause. Most people don't know what to do with someone who doesn't need to be understood. They get uncomfortable. They try to mold. And if they can't, they walk away. But that's not rejection. It's purification. Those who truly love you don't demand explanations to accept you. They simply walk beside you even when they don't understand the road. It's not arrogance. It's maturity. You weren't made to fit. You were made to overflow. Be whole, even if it costs you the company of those who only managed your fragments. Here's the truth. You were shaped by the fear of judgment, by eyes that said, that's not right, by voices that insisted you can't. And time passed, and you began to believe it. You shrank, justified yourself, smiled when you wanted to cry, stayed when your soul had already left. But then a moment comes, and maybe it's this one, where something shifts. What used to be fear turns to fire. What used to be need becomes a no. You begin to see that the strength you always searched for outside was within. It just needed a decision. Stop asking permission. Don't be mistaken. This path costs. You'll lose the easy applause. You'll be called selfish, ungrateful, cold. But deep down, you'll know. Maturity is choosing to be real, even if the world prefers your submissive version. Don't trade your integrity for acceptance. It's your anchor, your compass, your home. And the deeper your conviction, the less the wind's opinion matters. You no longer need to explain yourself or convince anyone you've changed, because real growth isn't explainable. It's perceivable. It's felt, seen in small choices, in the peace that starts to live in your eyes. People will notice, but won't be able to define it And that may disturb them even more, because you'll become a version that no longer fits the memory they had of you. You no longer match old expectations. And that, to many, will be a threat. But you're not here to fit into their narrative. You're here to write your own. Remember, mountains don't justify themselves. They exist, immense, steady, eternal. So will the new version of you be? Indescribable yet undeniable. Not through noise, but through internal stability. Through the calm silence of someone who has nothing left to prove, only live. You've come this far through pain. Now, move forward with purpose. Are you ready? Ready to stop trading your peace for belonging? Ready to rebuild, even if no one applauds? This is the moment to step out of the shadow of fear, of the need to be accepted, of the habit of shrinking to fit. You don't need more explanations or approval. You need one decision: rebuild. In silence, with courage, with conviction. Yes, you were shaped by judgment. But now you'll be forged by a new enough. You don't need their permission. You need your own. And the final question is this: are you ready to choose strength over the comfort of old applause? Start over without a crowd. Rise again without promises. Go silent without vanishing. That's the art of mature rebuilding. You no longer need claps, or explanations, or permission from those who didn't see your sleepless nights. You need something simpler, stronger: integrity. Alignment between what you feel and how you live. So, practice this. Next one. Create intentional solitude. A space where you listen to yourself, where there's no noise, only roots. 2. Write down every decision made out of fear of disapproval, and rewrite with courage what the authentic choice would be. 3. Repeat daily one firm affirmation: I wasn't made to please, I was made to grow. Because here's the truth: mountains don't applaud, they endure. And so will you. Not to prove anything, but to finally live as someone whole,